For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed.
Unfortunately, what's happening in America today is all of the people who have been charged with our protection have fallen asleep at the wheel. They have failed to live up to their oath. And either through complicity or complacency, they are either making or allowing this nightmare to occur on American soil. This is done by creating a field effect, where an entire field of electromagnetic energy is created in a geographical location, and any human being within that geographical location, within the electromagnetic field affecting that geographical location, will be affected by the technology. This can be used to induce a general mood in a population or a crowd of people. It can be used to make them passive. It can be used to make them agitated. And this can be used to cause or stop, induce riots, stop crime, start crime, stop thoughts, start thoughts. Massive mind control on a citywide level. And I know for a fact, having been an insider and actually been a part of this program and seen it operate on a day-to-day basis, I am aware that there are now entire cities in America that are nothing more but a massive social engineering experiment. There are field effects where they will not direct this technology at an individual, but create a general field of frequency in a geographical area so that everybody that within that geographical area is feeling the effects of the technology. It's more of a general application of the technology instead of an individual specific application of the technology. And I have seen this done, and it is remarkable how effective it is, because you will walk down the street of Seattle and literally see people all in a bad mood, all at the same time, and they do not know each other. And then you go over a block or two to a different office building and you walk in and the exact same thing's going on there. It's very, very concerning.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Eric from the Ancient of Days. Today is the 13th of Friday. Go figure, 2021. It is 3:39 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know what? I got up at 4 this morning because I wanted to get the video out of the way early. And this was going to be a 2-hour video. I wanted to just cram everything into one video, but clearly it wasn't meant to be because it's been one technical nightmare after another. I got what you saw in the beginning there. Excuse me, I'm a little hyper excited right now. I got to calm down. What you saw in the beginning there, of course, was JFK, his last speech. They say the one that got him killed. There's a lot of controversy as to whether he was assassinated or as to whether that was a complete hoax or not. Okay, I'm not going to take an opinion on either way. I don't care at this point, because what I do care about are the words that he spoke. Those are words of truth. And then who you heard from was Brian Coffron, who spoke about the field approach, the field effect of this technology that they scale to the entire population. What is this technology that I've been trying to explain to everybody that comes across my channel, which is not a whole lot, but you know, I don't expect a whole lot. I never did. But, maybe I expected a few more than this. But maybe in due season, more people will start to pick up as to what I'm trying to reveal here and what I'm trying to say. The hardest thing for me is to put this stuff into words, because all of this I can see visually. I could see how everything works visually, but it's hard for me to put this into words that people will understand. Let's start off with resonance. Everything gives off a resonant frequency, a vibration. Okay, whether it be a positive or negative charge. When we are happy, we give off a happy resonance. And oftentimes that resonance will spread to others around us. Let's say you're in a car with a couple of friends and you start to get in an uplifted mood, you start to have a good time. Now your resonance, your vibration is getting higher, and maybe you're telling jokes and having a few laughs, and everybody's feeling the high vibration of fun and love and a good time in the car or in the living room, wherever you guys may be. Now what they've done is, because everything, including the demons and the archons that are, the overlords of this world, they're the controllers of humanity hidden in the shadows that work through the human host vessel. Me as a targeted individual, I'm not being harassed by helicopters because a pilot in the helicopter is saying, let me fly directly over this guy's house. No, it's a demonic entity that is operating within that human body, that human host vessel, that then antagonizes the children of light, okay, wearing the patience of the saints. And I don't even like to use that word saint, because I'm the furthest thing from a saint. I'm a sinner, but I'm redeemed by the blood of Yeshua Messiah, okay? He is the only way, he is the truth, and he is the life. That's how I've been bought back and redeemed. And that's the only way I am anybody or anything, is in Christ. Besides that, I'm absolutely no one. Who's Eric? Nobody. I don't have any money. I don't even have my own car, for crying out loud. It's ridiculous, okay? So back to how they've weaponized this. How many people out there are dealing with feelings of anger, all right, or stress of some sort, feeling stretched too thin? Maybe you're overtired all the time. Maybe you just can't find your groove. You just can't lift yourself up like you did a few years ago even, okay? Let me give you a little testimony. Okay, this morning at 4, my keyboard had died overnight. I got up, I had this big project to present for you guys. I was going to talk about Steve Gordon, who was a targeted individual who lost his shit and went and he killed a postal worker. Because somebody had left me a comment yesterday and I was blown away. So I looked into it and I looked into articles, and yeah, it was true. Now, I don't know for certain if he was, maybe he had a beef with this guy. I don't know. The articles, they weren't clear on that. But looking at his channel and looking at the short videos he did and all the documentation like I do, I document and show you all the pulse frequency assaults that they do with the RF and EMF's pulse technology. Okay, for instance, just look right here. Okay, there's radio frequency. Okay, RF, they're going easy right now. It only peaked at 13.34. Okay, so it's in the normal range completely. When they hit me hard, yeah, it's at 900, 700. 4793. They've done about 7 or 8 times now. 4,793. If I wasn't protected by God, I'd be dead. 6 feet under, no question about it, because anything over 6 milliwatts actually increases the size to the blood vessels to your brain. So to get pulsed instantly with an RF pulse of 4,793 milliwatts would kill you. It would. Except I'm protected by God the Father, because I was called for this specific mission as a targeted individual. I can explain to you guys this technology in ways that people who have just studied it, researched it, like even Dr. Robert Duncan, who you've heard in multiple videos in the past that I've done. Dr. Robert Duncan was one of my favorites because he actually built this technology and worked with it, but he was never a victim of it, so he doesn't know what it's like to be under this type of assault. That's why I used Brian Confron in the beginning. He hasn't been heard from since 2018. I'm not sure if he's alive or dead. I'm pretty sure somebody told me that he was dead, but I don't know. I can't confirm or deny that. Somebody had left me a comment saying that he was dead. I don't know. Now let me tell you this. See this remote here? Okay, that remote? That's for what's called the Fire Stick, so that I could pull up the visuals from YouTube. I pull up visuals for when I do a video. Through RF frequency technology, real quickly, let me show you here, okay? Right here would be RF frequency technology. There's a chipset somewhere installed in one of my neighbor's devices. It's pegging me right here, saying there he is. And then we have all of these micro drones that start to shoot all of these RF information weapons, free space optical communications, and assault frequencies. Okay, that's how they do it, is because it matches up through your resonant DNA frequency, and then it projects into the neocortex, and they're able to actually mind control and manipulate you. Well, they haven't been able to mind control and manipulate me, but what they do is they absolutely attack me, and even though I'm protected by God the Father, it takes a lot of praying, a lot of spiritual warfare to withstand those devices that are devised against me. It has the power to drain batteries. I have 60 volt batteries for power tools, strong power tools in the garage. I have 24 volt batteries for power tools in the garage. All those were drained completely dead. I have to change the batteries. Great. In that remote every single time I do a video. Why is that? That's because the frequencies that they shoot down actually drain those batteries. They have the capability to do that. Now imagine if those are being projected on you all day long and all day, every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Slowly but surely you would atrophy. You would age quicker. Your joints would break down. It's called eugenics. It's a eugenics agenda. That's what Wi-Fi is. Because look at this here, guys. Let's just take a quick look at this right here. Okay? Cell towers. There's cell tower. Typical. Nice big ones. Look at this one here. See those cell towers? Look at them all. You even got some disguised like as trees. Really cool. Look at this. Look at that. And if you go ahead and try to triangulate in between these, you don't get better reception at all. Why is that? Oh my gosh, let's wait a minute here. Look at this. Do you see any of these pointing up? No. That's because these are information weapons. Why? Now we're going to talk about resonant frequency. How they weaponized, and we covered this in what was it? I don't know. The first Project Bluebeam vid. Okay, that's one I do know. The first Project Bluebeam vid, the channel, what was it? Truth Unveiled 777. I covered it a couple of times, including on Cult of the Living God. As a guest, I went over the Serge Monast transcription, where he talks about back in the 90s, before he was taken out with a psychotronic weapon, how they were planning to weaponize these demonic powers and principalities through coaxial cables and broadcast them into everybody's home until they bring them down to the point of psychological breakdown and psychosis that they will be willing to accept any new Messiah to bring peace into the earth. That's what he said. And you know how they did it? Is because these demons and these archons give off a resonant frequency. If you guys have been feeling drained, short-tempered, sometimes just angry all day, okay? I was angry this morning when my keyboard was broke and I couldn't get started, okay? So I had to wait until sometime after 8 to get to Walmart and pick up the gear. And then I even bought the new microphone with the mute button because I need that for screencast. Because screencast, you get audio drops if you don't hit mute. So I plugged that in. It messed all the technical settings up, and then I spent literally 2 hours trying to get everything back up and running. So that was a bad idea to plug in something on the day that I was planning on doing a big presentation. So then by the time I got everything all squared away by 12, I was so wiped out, I had to take a nap for an hour. And then I got hit in like 5 different directions after that and didn't even get started until after 3. And then I had a system crash, so I had to pull this up. And now we're looking at about a third of the presentation that I was about to get out to you guys. That's what's called a targeted individual. Now, most people would have thrown in the towel a long time ago. I mean, a long time ago. What I have to go through to get a video out is just unspeakable and so ridiculous. How many people would buy like boxes of batteries? And how many people would go ahead and keep resetting their software and sit here for hours on end trying to figure out all these tech issues that keep happening because outside sources have ways to go ahead and get into your back door through OneDrive and everything else, and just through, I mean, this is nothing for an AI system to break in and shut down software and crash my system, so I have to do restarts, and then I have to pull up all these tabs again, okay? So it's a piece of cake for them. It's a cakewalk. It's easy. And they always wait until I'm just about ready to get started. So that's how they're doing it. Now, what is it they're doing? By doing this, okay? Not just through cell towers, but through HARP, through the simulated celestial objects that I've been showing you, that I'm going to prove that they use what I believe strongly. I shouldn't even say believe. What I feel strongly is something to the effect called a gyrotron or a cyclotron, that's mounted on these simulated celestial objects to continue to pulse these resonant frequencies. Now, what's so important about pulsing these resonant frequencies? Well, like I said, if you were in a car with your friends and you're having a good time, they're jovial, in a good mood, well, then the people around them get jovial, in a good mood, and that's because that's a resonant frequency that starts to spread almost like a little wildfire. It starts to spread from person to person. You ever been to a house party or been to a home gathering, a family reunion where it was just completely dull and flat and everybody was like, right? Couldn't wait to get out of there? Or you walk in there and as soon as you get there, you feel excited and happy to be there. And that's because people are having a good time. Well, the demons and the archons give off a very, very negative frequency. And they've also mastered through Tesla's technology, and I don't feel at all that Nikola Tesla had the technology that he was working on to be used in this fashion, but this is what the powers that be went and did. They found a certain frequency, hertz ranges, and all that through the targeted individual and gang stalking program for the however millions of people they had around the world from every walk of life that they have been targeting and harassing for 20 years, okay? Some people would just get certain types of the program, of the AI targeted individual program. Maybe it just be the gang stalking. Maybe it just be feeling nauseous or headaches or other types of symptoms. Some people get a totally different type of set of symptoms, and other people get some of the most nasty V2K and pain and every other possible bit of the technology that they could dish out on you. I feel that I have received some of the most aggressive, most nasty form of this technology ever to be conceived by the wicked minds of men. I've told you in previous videos, they used to shock me so badly that I would pop up 3 feet off the bed, and I've even bounced out of bed. I've even chipped a tooth from the nightmares they used to project through the neocortex into my mind as I was in delta stage sleep. At REM sleep, I would dream and have the most horrific nightmares. And that's because they went ahead and they weaponized these powers and principalities through frequency technology. Now this here, through, cell towers and all that, that's how they used to target people like me. Because I got wrapped up at a young age through the pain clinics and through, I was seeing a psychologist to deal with the pain, chronic pain situation I was having. And I even had my brain mapped. All that started to feed the system. I got scooped up into the targeted individual program, and I was tortured for 20 years straight, and I have the PTSD to show for it. Okay, so it is a frequency and a resonant that they broadcast. And when Brian Coffron was speaking, he was saying that they actually can go ahead and broadcast this in a field effect so that it actually broadcasts and will pulse the air. Let's take a quick look. How many times have I shown this to you guys? I won't bore you with it, but look. Okay? Do you see all this pulsing? That's a resonant vibration frequency. Now, yes, this is used for so many purposes. Not only is it used to create plasma, to ionize the cloaking fields, to ionize the barium, the strontium, the aluminum, but this is also used for MK Ultra mind control. What am I talking about? Well, let's look here. Right here. Again. Not that I'm trying to bore you guys with this stuff, but look. All they have to do is pulse one of these free space optical communications lasers through your neocortex. It matches. You get this idea to suddenly contact somebody at the worst possible time imaginable, and to that person, it feels like they're being targeted, and other people are getting pulsed by these same frequencies and getting the same exact idea, like, hey, let's contact Joe Schmo right now and tell him this. And all of a sudden you have a whole bunch of people telling you the same thing that aren't connected in any way, shape, or form. Just like Brian Coffron said, you could go to one part of the city, how you can tell that they're using this technology, and it seems like everybody in that area is in a bad mood. Then you go to an office building on the other end of the city, and everybody in that office building is in a bad mood. That's how you know that they are using this technology to socially engineer and test on the population of that region, county, or city. Alright guys, stick with me now because we have still quite a bit to cover here. Before I wrap up the resonant frequency here that I'm about to talk about, I want to give you at least a little heads up as to what we're going to be covering next, because this is very important. Of course, this one's hilarious. Israel, Bennett's, he's threatening that their Moshiach will not come if people don't get vaccinated. Then we're going to fact check the CDC's COVID internment camps for every U.S. city. We're also going to talk about the shielding approach that I discussed in this video here in December of 2020, and now people are catching on because these shady camps that were documented in Washington State, I did a video on. Here's building 1, here's building 2. And at the time I was asking, in the shielding approach, are these going to be for people that refuse to take the vaccine? Or are these going to be for people that are actually contaminated? Because that's what the shielding approach gets into, and we're going to discuss that very shortly. But let's wrap up the resonant frequency, okay? Because this morning, I was really frustrated. I was straight up angry, guys, honestly. When I got up at 4 in the morning getting ready, I wanted to do this big presentation. Probably a 2-hour video, the biggest, longest video I've ever done, okay, that I would have ever done, that would have covered a wide range of topics, and I was even considering doing chapters. That's how long of a video I was planning on doing. I wanted to cover a lot so I wouldn't have to do a video for like 5 days and not worry about it. But it didn't work out that way. My keyboard was broke, so I had to go to Walmart. I knew it was going to be after 8 until my son went to camp so that I could get this. But so I was frustrated and angry, and I was giving off a vibration, a resonance of frustration and anger, and my wife and my son were in the car with me, and I could feel their moods getting lower and lower. And that's because the frequency and the moods that we give off, it transfers to the people around us and affects even our loved ones and people that we care about. So we can't let these things bring us down like I failed this morning and let my broken, stupid keyboard and all these other technical issues bring me down to a point where it affected those that I care about and love the most, all right? Now, what they're doing is people like us, especially if you're an empath, I've had a lot of empaths say to me, yes, they can't understand what's going on, how all these, that people are acting like not themselves, and they're just like acting spontaneously, like accusations towards people towards them that they didn't do anything and such like that, and having fights with their loved ones that they make no sense. Well, that's because when they broadcast these frequencies of the archons and the demons, and they project the hurts that agitate, they actually can agitate an entire city, just like Brian Coffran said. I'll say it again. You go to one part of the city and everybody's pissed off and angry. Then you go to have an office appointment all the way in the other end of the city, and everybody in the office, including the patient sitting there waiting to be seen, is pissed off and angry too. And that's because they pulse these vibrations and frequencies with certain hertz over the entire population, so that it starts to resonate with them, and that starts to act out in their behavior. Because let's not forget that unless you are set apart by the Son of the living God through Christ Yeshua, our Father God separates us out from this world. We are in the world, but we are not of the world. So we get set apart out of it, and it's almost like being outside of a snow globe looking in. And we see all the madness going on inside that snow globe, and we're on the outside. Now we can partake in the madness inside the snow globe and get all frustrated and angry, or we could stay set apart, get a hold of ourselves, and guys, believe me, I'm not coming down on anybody. I'm working as hard as possible to try to overcome this. I am under direct targeted assault continually. So for me, it might be a little harder than other people that just have a family and a stressful day, rather than being gang-stalked with cars driving by and people trespassing and doing all sorts of things and technical issues and just constant non-stop electrical harassment, including going after your own family. Of course, that would piss anybody off, right? Well, I have to rise above that as a soldier of God. I have to rise above that as a representative of Christ the Messiah. I have to rise above that and give off a vibration of love and peace and joy. So those around me will feel that resonant vibration, and it will lift their mood rather than bring it down. And that is a true representative of our Father through Christ Yeshua, who died on the cross at Calvary for our stupidity. He loved us so much that he bought us back. So surrender and ask for forgiveness and repent from your sins and turn from the ways and get back right on track with Christ, because he is the only way that's going to help us navigate through this madness that is taking place in the world. Because let's just take a look right here. All right, do a little search about 2 hours ago. Okay, Skybridge founder of Scaramucci on his firm's COVID vaccine mandate. This is freedom issue for all people. Are you kidding me? So you got to go ahead and do what people tell you to do so that you can be free? Talk about reverse psychology. That's pretty funny, actually. That was 2 hours ago on CNBC. Let's see. U.S. Health Department mandates COVID vaccine shots for its 25,000 employees. CNN, 16 hours ago. First major U.S. city announces it will be mandatory proof of full vaccinations for certain indoor activities. 8 hours ago. Vaccine mandates exacerbate class divide. 1 day ago. California requires teachers to be vaccinated or tested. That's another thing I want to talk about, okay? Well, this isn't so bad, all right? Now people are realizing, hey, I'm not sending my kid back to that mind control place that they call a school that's actually like a concentration camp. No, of course not. It's not going to be easy for us, but we have to actually learn how to teach our kid Common Core. I don't have any idea about Common Core, but we're not sending our kid back to school. We're not doing a vaccine. He's not getting a vaccine. But there will come a point, there will come a time where you won't be able to refuse this anymore whatsoever. That, I promise you guys, that time is coming that we will have to make the choice. Writers, U.S. employers get religion with vaccine mandates. So yeah, okay, they even hit the religious organizations with the vaccine mandates. That's from Reuters 1 day ago. New York Times 18 hours ago. FDA authorizes third vaccine dose, okay, for immunocompromised, those getting a variant. All the people that have been getting the variant have already been vaccinated twice. So what is anybody even talking about? All right, so let's get out of this and let's look at some crazy stuff from Freed from Evil's blog page, because I love her blog page. Yep. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, I had to switch software so that we could start looking at this so that we could actually play the videos and not have audio dropouts. That's why I bought a new microphone this morning that messed up all of my technical situation. It was a true nightmare, but it's behind us. Let's not even talk about it, all right? Crazy scenes from the apocalypse, which simply means unveiling, all right? Prime Minister of Israel warns that if people don't get vaccinated, they will postpone the Messiah. Oh my goodness, let's read this, okay? Israel 365 news from August 13th of 2021. Oh my gosh, that's today, Friday the 13th. Bennett's Rosh Hashanah threat: if people don't get vaccinated, they won't hear the shofar. How hilarious is that, okay? Did Naftali Bennett just threaten to cancel the Messiah? Israel's prime minister called for all Israelis to get vaccinated, but implicit in his word was a message that non-vaccination would postpone the Messiah. Wow. Do I even need to read any further? No, we don't even need to read any further. This is absolutely hilarious. I can't even believe this, that they're going to cancel the Messiah if everybody doesn't get vaccinated. Oh my gosh. In London, a man designated as a COVID marshal, check this out, shouts with a bullhorn, "We are trying to protect the vaccinated." All right, this is serious, guys. We are trying to protect the vaccinated. Okay? Show your papers. Let's watch. We're trying to protect the vaccinated. Show your papers. I never heard anything like it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is part of the new pilot scheme, and this carriage is for vaccinated people only. We will be asking you if you are vaccinated. Please show your papers if you have them on you. Otherwise, please comply. This carriage is for vaccinated people only. You two guys, just come on, are you vaccinated? Yes? No problem. Fully? Good.
Look at his jacket. COVID marshal. My gosh. This is getting out of hand, my friends, and I don't feel good about it, to be honest.
Ladies and gentlemen, please bear with me. This is part of a new pilot scheme where we are trying to protect the vaccinated by creating...
Oh my gosh, I am blown away. We are here to protect the vaccinated while he wears a COVID marshal yellow outfit, holding a vaccination sign or whatever it is. 5 more seconds if we could bear it. Let's listen.
One carriage for the vaccinated, so we're going to ask you politely to... Ladies and gentlemen, this is part of the new pilot.
Unfreaking believable. Are you freaking kidding me? Makes me sick. Absolutely sick. And then you have, look at this, a minute video. Let's listen to Schwarzenegger, who's Mr. All About America after he came here to the States and made a wonderful life for himself and his broken family.
But I think people should know there is a virus here. It kills people. And the only way we prevent it is to get vaccinated, to wear masks, to do social distancing, washing your hands all the time, and not just to think about, well, my freedom is being kind of disturbed here. No, screw your freedom. Because
I can't even listen to that. Are you freaking kidding me? I actually love Arnold Schwarzenegger and his Terminator movies. Screw your freedom. Screw your freedom. How much money you think this guy's getting paid to say that?
With freedom comes obligations and responsibilities. We cannot just say, I have the right to do X, Y, and Z. When you affect other people, that is when it gets serious. It's like no different than a traffic light.
All right, let me ask you, Mr. Schwarzenegger, or should I call you former Governor Schwarzenegger? Let me ask you a question, okay? Why is it then those that have received 2 vaccines are the ones that are receiving the Delta variant, and those that have not received the vaccines aren't sick at all? So you're full of shit and you make me sick, period. Okay? Now let's look at this in France. Now, not that this does anything, and look at the checkerboard floor. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but nobody's standing up here in the States. Nobody across the entire States, and truly it doesn't matter. We've already gone way too far. Let's watch. Okay, so in France, doctors are striking. Well, that's actually good to hear. That's pleasing to my ears. But again, as I said in a previous video, it's not going to change anything as far as this agenda goes. In France, teachers are striking.
Allez, on en a marre.
Firefighters are striking in France. At least something's happening. I mean, again, this is music to my ears, but I don't see this changing anything outside of maybe it might spark something here across the pond. In France, nurses are striking. Ask yourselves, guys, is this going to change the agenda? Don't beat me up in the comments, but please leave me a comment if you think this will help or not. It's my opinion that it won't, but everybody, at least in my view, we're still free people, and you have a right to your opinion. So let's talk about this. Let's have an open dialogue. Do you think that if we started protesting and people started striking here in the States, do you think it'd actually make a difference, or do you think they'd actually move this agenda forward? That's the question I'm asking you guys. I'm not asking to get the crap kicked out of me in comments. I got it rough enough, guys, all right? But yeah, do you guys think this would make a difference? It's my opinion that it wouldn't. One thing I will say is that you're not seeing any of this on the news.
De rejoindre le château de Versailles où Emmanuel Macron est attendu aujourd'hui, où des ministres.
Okay, so you guys get the point. All right, so let's see here. Okay, let's fact check this from Brighteon. We got a date here on August 11th of 2021. CDC announces COVID internment camps for every U.S. city will meet minimum humanitarian standards. Well, if we fact check it, it says right here, claim about unvaccinated being sent to quarantine camps started as satire. Well, how'd that happen? Well, Joe Biden said it, apparently. Why would the president of the United States, Joe Biden, announced people who are not vaccinated by 2022 will be sent to quarantine camps? Okay, I'm just going to read this first paragraph. President Joe Biden has continued to urge those who haven't received the COVID-19 vaccine to get the shot after missing his goal to get at least one dose of 70% of American adults by July 4th. Well, we're, well past July 4th. Well, you know what? They're talking about, I hear people all over the place talking about shielding approach. I don't believe for a second that Joe Biden would announce people who are not vaccinated by 2022 will be sent to quarantine camps as satire or just as a joke. The President of the United States would not say that as a joke. We're now getting into what is called the shielding approach. Right here, building 1, Building 2, I did a video back in December of 2020 on the other channel, The Deliverer. Let's listen to what I had to say then. This has to do with the shielding approach. Interim operational considerations for implementing the shielding approach to prevent COVID-19 infections in humanitarian settings. Back then, when I did this video, if I remember correctly, I had asked, well, was this going to be these shady looking camps? Were these going to be for the people that were not taking the vaccine, or for those who were already sick? And I said at the time, I have a feeling it's for those who refused the vaccine. Let's listen to what I said about the shielding approach back in December of 2020. Now what do I think that we're looking at here? Okay, we're looking at temporary shielding approach. Now the question is this going to be for people that don't take the vaccine, that are going to be considered high risk, or are they really saying it's going to be for people that are elderly and people that with underlying conditions? I think it's for people that don't take the vaccine. Okay, what is the shielding approach? Well, let's go down here, because I'm going to put all these links in the box. Most of this I probably can't even talk about anymore. A specific room area designed for high-risk individuals. That's what I'm saying. Are the high-risk individuals people that don't take the vax, or are they the people that are elderly that they talk about in this, and people with underlying conditions? Something tells me that the people that are high risk are going to be the ones that refuse to take the vaccination. Each green zone has a dedicated latrine bathing facility for high risk individuals. To minimize external contact, each green zone should include able-bodied, high-risk individuals capable of caring for residents who have disabilities, just like here on the ramps. Let's continue on. The green zone and living areas for high-risk residents should be aligned with minimum humanitarian sphere standards. Monitor and evaluate the implementation of shielding approach. Okay, dedicated staff need to be identified to monitor each green zone. What do you mean, like military guards? And I'm going to leave this in the box. High-risk minors should be accompanied into isolation by a single caregiver who will also be considered a green zone resident in terms of movements and contacts with those outside the green zone. Well, high-risk minors goes to tell me that it's for people that refuse to take the vax. Green zone shelters should always be kept clean. Residents should be provided with the necessary cleaning products and materials to clean their living spaces. What do you mean? Like these chemical drums and these air ducts? Okay, is this what this is? For high-risk people that don't take this vax? Is this a re-education center, so to say? Well, that's where I'm placing my bets. Yeah, placing my bets back then in December of 2020, and I am very much placing my bets there again. Alright, so I'm going to mention something now that I haven't mentioned yet. My wife, she felt ill today. She had to be brought down, rushed to Yale Urgent Care, where she is likely being checked into Yale New Haven Hospital tonight. I have my son, and her mother took her down there. Enjoy the rest of the vid. I'll see you soon. Talk about Steve Gordon, who was the TI guy, who, he lost his, he totally lost it, ended up killing a postal worker, because what they're doing is they're scaling this technology to the entire population. Now, if this resonance here that's within this EMF radiation, this electromagnetic radiation that's used to ionize the barium, the strontium, and the aluminum, if there is a low vibration resonance with a certain hertz, it's going to affect people in certain ways and make them feel in a specific mood. That's what this is all about. Just as Serge Monast had said, they are broadcasting powers and principalities through coaxial cables by matching the frequency of the archons and the demons along with the hertz that agitate and irritate and make people feel oppressed and depressed. That is exactly what they are doing, because we are within what is called the Blue Beam Project. And that's because they are getting ready to make way for their Messiah after we have our world war that looks to be fixing to happen in the not so distant future. I'm feeling year perhaps to maybe a couple of years, but that's about it max. We're looking at China and Russia already joining forces to take down the states. They aren't even hiding it. As we can see right here, U.S. and its allies are the past. Russia and China are the future. 3 weeks ago, the Washington Post, trying to pry Russia away from China is a fool's errand. Okay, 5 days ago, Foreign Brief, Russia and China to launch joint military exercise. Okay, and it goes down and down. Alright, so we're going to leave it off on that, guys. I look forward to seeing you guys real soon. Okay, please subscribe if you enjoy my content, and I look forward to seeing you. Much love from my family to yours. Peace and grace, and God bless. You have a great weekend. Take care.
For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day,